Hello, hello, my sweet, beautiful nobodies. How have you all been? You've gotten so tall. You're all growing up so fast, I feel like I'm missing out on your most formative years when life steals, life steals us away for so long. Sorry that we've missed your All-Star Little League game. We'll make it up to you. I'll tell you what. We will pick you up and bring you to Toys R Us this weekend, and you can pick out any toy you want. Promise. Anyway, the super cool thing about tonight's episode is that it is in earnest a celebration. This is our humble little idiot show for smart dum-dums 150th episode. Now, I know that Chris and I very often say that we do this show for us and the laughs that it brings us, and even if no one else in the world ever enjoyed it, we would still do it because we love to. Well, on this momentous occasion of getting, like halfway to 300, I would like to turn that sentiment on its head. Those of you out there that follow us or have followed us for the years that we've produced this show in times of ease and in times of great turmoil, as well as the times when the demanding road of life had an all-encompassing grasp on our free time. Those of you that have been here for everything, I want to hear from you. I want to know why you've stuck with us. I want to know what it is about this sometimes sloppily researched but always wholehearted passion project of ours that speaks to you. Have we helped you through tough times? Is it just background noise at work? Does it feel like you're talking with old friends? Do you fucking hate listen? I just wanted to use the intro of this episode that I never thought we would ever get to as a chance to get to know the people who we, in all truthfulness, make the show for. Fuck, even if you're new to this, I want to hear from you and what you expect of us and what you'd like to hear more of. Sometimes I feel like maybe if we had a little more of a nudge from the people who enjoy what we do, that we could make a more convincing excuse to our demanding lives in order to make more time to do this thing that we love to do. So please email us at snhnsnpod@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel. In all truthfulness, we're just trying to look cool when we say that we only do the show for ourselves. Because the people out there, you nobodies, are and always have been who we want to laugh and who we want to amaze and creep the fuck out and scare and console. And we can't wait to hear from you. So
I remember when Rob Van Winkle was
That's
being
right.
Sued for using Under Pressure, and he's like, "No, there's like an extra hi-hat hit right at the end, so it's doon 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 doon. That's what makes it okay." Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, "You're fucking stupid." Every time Under Pressure comes on my car radio now, I instantly go into rapping Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah. No, if you don't, you're not. You weren't at all under the impression that you were cool in the 90s.
Correct.
As a white kid.
I've told Melissa on many occasions, every white boy from the 90s knows all of the words to Ice Ice Baby and Jump Around by House of Pain.
Yeah. And I told Melissa on numerous occasions that I'm cooler than her, but, not to her face.
Remains to be seen, doesn't it?
Either way, welcome
to another bygone era episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
The rip roaringest. Ah, shit. I really don't know what usually comes after that. I thought I was gonna, like, it was gonna come to me when I started. I don't know.
What exactly is a rip roar?
Rip roaring? I don't know that it has a definition. I think it just kind of, in this context,
In this economy.
in this particular context, is to ramp up the excitement of the UFOs, conspiracies, and murders that we may or may not be talking about. Who knows?
Pow!
Who knows? We might just talk about, I don't know.
Ice Ice Baby. The whole
You know,
time.
Rob Van Winkle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
You fucking genius, you.
Why did you change it? Nothing rhymes with Winkle. You know.
Wrinkle. Tinkle. Twinkle.
But anything cool that makes a good rap name?
Winkle to
Of course,
sparkly.
I've heard some pretty shitty rap names, though.
Yeah.
Some really, really questionable rap names.
Your old rap name was pretty okay.
It was.
DJ Tit Tits.
That's right. And I was the tits.
Yeah. I was always like, why DJ though? Shouldn't you be like MC Tit Tits? And he's like, just come to the show and you'll see. And I never went to one of these shows. I was like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with it. So,
Actually, I wanted to go with MJ, but they all said that was, that kind of sounded a little on the fence, let's say.
Yeah, like Michael J. Fox.
No,
you
like
can't
Master of Jockeys. I don't know that.
I'm pretty sure that Michael J. Fox is the Master of Jockeys.
Anywho.
Yes. So, we are back to give you the business, and the business that we're given is good because it's new episode time, and that means that it is Chris's episode because that's how these things work when Chris wants them to.
Booyaka!
And also, happy 150th episode.
Motherfucker, 150 times.
Man.
We have been sitting here drilling you sons of bitches in the ear holes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess
With our
daughters of
word
bitches
dicks.
as well. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
We
And
have more
mercilessly.
We have more episodes than 30 Rock had episodes. They had 130 or some shit.
Wow.
Yeah, we're at 150.
We outdid Liz Lemon. That's impressive.
I mean, just doing Liz Lemon is impressive enough for me,
I would agree.
but continue, please.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's been a while, and we apologize. I
don't.
more profusely than this ice hole, but
I just been working my ass off.
yeah, there's been a lot going on, and I am easily distracted, and it's been being brought to my attention by someone with severe ADHD that I've probably been living with ADD my whole fucking life and never knew it, and that's why I'm such a jumbled fucking.
I thought you were gonna say that I said it, and I was gonna be like, why didn't you just say that I had beautiful eyes instead and just leave it at that?
I just thought it was normal to be so jumbly fucked all the time, and
No.
and yeah,
You're supposed to be able to actually do things.
yeah, I always wondered like how people actually get stuff done and
Drugs. Drugs, man.
So-
That's the story. That's story of our life.
So yeah, it's been an interesting time here lately in these past couple of months, boys and girls. But I do apologize. And so here for the 150th, I think I brought the fire, like the flame within flames.
When I walked in his house, he tried to set me on fire. He's like, "That's what I'm bringing to the friendship."
That's right.
And I'm like, all right, man, just warn a dude next time so I can not come over to be set on fire. And he's like, fire.
And I was playing that Nelly song too. So thankfully for me, he didn't take a cue and take off all his clothes. But
Yeah, it was getting hot in here.
it
I
has
did
been.
take off a modicum of clothing.
There's
but
fire.
We have kept it tasteful.
Yeah, tasteful, because there's cameras all over my house. And if Regina calls me and asks, why the fuck are you guys naked and setting each other on fire?
It's hard to set.
That's going to be hard to explain.
It's really hard to just set skin on fire, really. You gotta have, like, I don't know, like at least like a lace teddy on or something.
Okay, on that note, I think we're just going to fucking dive right in.
Yeah, we is.
So buckle up. This is going to be fun.
Hold on to your butts.
We're going to talk about a few people in this one, and they're all interesting characters. So, starting off, we're going to talk about poor sweet girly Chew.
That is a candy name and not a name for a person.
Girly Chew. Yeah, I assume girly was her Americanized nickname, and that her real name was something more Malaysian. So,
do you know her? I like how you said that Malaysian, like you were saying, like what is malaligned, fucking horridness. Like, damn, dude, this guy really hates Malaysians.
Among Asian countries, Malaysia gets the most scorn from my voice, apparently.
Yeah, because all he did was add mal in front of where they're from.
Well, I mean, some of my people...
Malazy is
some
more
of my
like
people
it.
do speak Spanish, and that is the word for bad, so...
Malazy.
Anyway, shut up.
You shut it.
Girly Chew was born on August 27th of 1963 in Malaysia to father Chu Ching Ken and mother Chin Gyok Wan.
I don't like the liberty that you're taking in saying those names so well.
Well,
It bothers me that you can do that, and it makes me look foolish, and I will let you continue now, but I will have words after this is done.
Perhaps I should be doing all the Asian episodes from now on, and you just keep on murdering Russian at your leisure.
Hey, man. My
Neither
Russian
of us can
is
say that shit,
top
though.
notch these days.
Your Russian is certainly top notch for someone who is attempting.
Not right. Yeah, as long as you guys have never heard an actual Russian person before, I'm your dude.
So she also had two siblings, a sister named Jun Chu and a brother named somehow Andrew Chu.
Oh my god, I thought his name was somehow.
That's
that
funny.
is...
That could work. So Jun Chu and Drew Chu. But none of these four people have any play in this story whatsoever. So that's just where Girly comes from. But when she was 21, she got a job as a marketing rep at the Hong Kong Bank in Penang, and she became really close friends with one of her coworkers named Susan. And she and Susan apparently had this affinity for traveling, or they wanted to travel, and they wanted to go and see the world, and most especially the U.S., apparently. So in 1989, she and Susan decided to come on over and cross the big pond. And
Red Rover, send Girly Chew over.
that's right. Choo choo. Okay.
Choo choo.
I don't
That's,
know.
that's
Choo-
the sound that runaway trains make, Chris. You're playing with fire. You're playing
Back off.
with
Back
with
off.
fire. That you shouldn't have tried to light me on fire.
Let's just slow down. Let's just slow down.
Back on track. That's where I wanted to be.
One more train pun reference or reference,
That's actually a good Malaysian name too. Train pun.
or would it be pun train? Pun train.
Poncha train.
Anyway, stop it right now.
I'm done. I've been done forever.
It's just gonna keep going, and not that it's not good. It's the problem is that it's good. You need to stop.
I've been dead for 30 years.
So, it turned out that they enjoyed their time in the U.S. so much that they made it an annual thing. And they kept coming back and back and back and back and back. Like baby backs.
I was about to say, I want my baby.
Now, that was definitely mush mouth for any machine trying to transcript whatever the fuck we
Right.
were
Transcribe
talking about.
that shit, YouTube.
Transcribe,
you bitch.
that's right.
You
Damn it.
read a transcript.
Yes.
A shitty machine
Yes.
makes them from transcribing things from a transcription.
Yes.
That's another really good Malaysian name, though. Transcription.
I shall have you destroyed.
That's fine. I probably deserve it a lot, actually.
So, in the early 90s, so they started doing this annual trips in 89. Apparently they only got through a couple of them, each year before Girly, winds up meeting this dude. So we're gonna stop the story there, and we're gonna go on to this dude. We're going to talk about him real quick.
You're always going
And give his quickie background. So this guy's name is Armand Chavez. And Armand Chavez, clearly Mexican, born in Houston on March 5th of 1969 to Yolanda and Armando Chavez.
Clearly Malaysian.
Most likely not. So, around 6 or 7, maybe 8 years old, his parents split up. And somehow his father was awarded custody. So he and his siblings, an older sister, Susan, and 2 younger half-brothers, Enrico and Stanley, lived with their dad. Enrico.
Suave.
No. Stanley.
I don't know that song.
So, when he was 16, Armand decided to split because apparently he didn't like his stepmom.
Was she an evil stepmom, do you know? We were talking about Disney movies earlier, so...
True that, but no, it doesn't say. It just says he didn't like her. Or she was probably just more strict than he felt like dealing with.
Gotcha. So he was a whiny bitch, and she was like, I'm just asking you to not have your underwear, like, in the living room. Like, if you're going to just throw it somewhere, there are other rooms in the house. Like, we have company all the time. You know, I have my painting class that comes in today, and there's just... I'm like... Who's on... You know?
Especially because said underwear were lace.
And he was like, you're a bitch! I hate you. You're not even my real mom.
Probably.
Man.
I mean, but there's nothing in his background that says that he was, you know, a troublemaker or anything before the age of 16.
I mean, that's not trouble. That's
rebellion.
That's a slice of pie life.
It's rebellion.
The life of pie slice.
So he was actually described as a fairly compassionate kid.
As they all usually are.
Right. But when he was in high school, he played some football and such and wound up getting a pretty severe head injury where he had to be life flighted life out of the field and stuff. And he was in the hospital for about 4 days. And his family said that he just never was the same after that.
4-day hospital stay after a fucking head injury usually changes a person.
Yeah. It was, but I mean, again, nothing to say up until this, this certain point, that anything was really, really off, necessarily. Like there's nothing, no police record, no, nothing like that up until this
but
point.
They said the same exact fucking thing about Robin Williams when he changed into Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he was honest and he said, I don't do the boys because there used to be one.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to steal my family back at this dinner. You guys make sure that I get fucking cake.
That was like one of my favorite lines in the whole fucking movie.
I don't remember that line in the movie.
It's where he's trying to apply for it, but he's trying to apply under many different pseudonyms that are all shitty for the job, so that when he actually shows up, that he's automatically hired.
We should do a commentary on Mrs. Doubtfire.
I mean, that movie's hilarious. I'm down.
It's also terrible what that man does, and his wife should not take him back, and his kids should, by court's law, not be allowed to see him.
It's not all that terrible. It was pretty inventive.
He put on the guise of an old lady and got a job as a nanny for the children he was not allowed to see by law, and made his children fall in love with an old lady nanny whom he is not actually.
Right.
He is a man, a hairy man, with
hairy white man,
questionable friends that help him dress and become an old woman whose boobs can just catch fire like nothing.
And violate restraining orders and such, yeah. I mean, I see. But
I say he's dangerous, and I think that stops need to be put to him.
well, I mean, we can talk about all that on another episode. But until then,
I want to hear more about Girly Chew. I'm just saying
about this asshole.
I'm hoping that this comes into play. Is what I'm saying.
So, yeah, they said he was, never really the same, but at the same time, he was still kind of a normal person. So he actually went on to finish high school and attend college. He went to Notre Dame in San Francisco.
That explains a lot. I'm just kidding, Notre Dame guys. I have no idea if you're good or not. I just, Irish and everything. You never trust one of them limeys, Irish. And that's not limeys. I'm gonna stop talking now. You go ahead.
Also, we make fun of everybody, so take that.
Not the Mexican mafia. We don't.
That's true. Yeah, except for them.
Those motherfuckers will cut your balls off and film it.
So, so he went to Notre Dame in San Francisco, and when he was 23, he married his first wife, Rosemary Guerrero, on February 23rd in 1986.
Okay. I was a 3-year-old little boy, so I was safe from his prying hands.
I was 5.
Not safe from most prying hands.
Well,
There was that one time at church with your uncle.
Well, I run fast, and, that's also why I don't go barefoot anymore. So...
You got to learn lessons, is what he's saying, guys.
That's true. That's true. So, at the assemblies of God Church in Gilroy, California...
Assemblies of God?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure there was just one name.
Yeah, no, it totally threw me off. I'm thinking, like, the name of the church was God Church, and the assemblies were just, going to church.
I think if they just named it God Church, they're being mighty presumptuous.
I was saying, that's... anyway. At the Assemblies of God Church in Gilroy, California. Okay, so... Yes, that's where he got his marriage certificate. Okay. And so he listed his occupation on said marriage certificate as a technician for an immunology lab, which was a lie. Because he was actually still a college student with a part-time job at a hospital.
Well, I mean, it could be more of a lie. He could work at Denny's and say that he's in immunology, whatevers.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying that maybe he's not all bad.
But he wasn't even doing that well in college.
Oh, then no.
I mean, he was passing, and he did pass, but he wasn't doing that well. He graduated in December of 1987 with a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, but shortly thereafter, he and Rosemary had a baby. And, right.
Dirty pillows. That's from Carrie. That's not even from Rosemary's Baby, but I figured I'd like to say that on recording just once.
So, right around there is where we believe, well, I say we, but it's not me.
I do believe, though.
Where, the people who really investigate this kind of shit believe that this is right around the time that he starts going wacky jobs. So...
Just like that Steve Jobs guy.
He started applying to a bunch of medical schools, and he kept getting rejected. And in the late 80s, Rosemary started noticing that he started taking his own blood, like drawing his own blood.
Like on a legal pad? Like pictures of it? Like drawing his own blood?
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, but he started like literally sticking himself and drawing his own blood. For what reason? We don't know. But she thought that was kind of weird.
That's weird that she would think that's weird, don't you think?
And, I think a lot of things, but that's not necessarily one of them.
No, I would think it's pretty weird, too.
Right around that time, he also started calling himself, or starting to use a pseudonym, and calling himself Diazin Hasenkopf. His name is Armand Chavez. And he started calling himself Diazin Hasenkopf.
Maybe. I got nothing. Go ahead.
So, their marriage only survived about 3 years.
What? With all the blood drawing and the name changing?
That's right. So
what grounds did she have for divorce?
at this point, he's just he's just using the name for who knows what. It's just kind of bullshitting around. Still weird, but it's still kind of bullshitting around. Somewhere towards the end of that 3-year marriage, he had, I guess, just randomly made mention to her that if he ever killed anybody, he would get away with it because they'd never find the body because he would dissolve it in all these chemicals and acid. How that came up, or
who hasn't confided in a loved one that they're capable of murder and acid dissolving the bodies? Come on. This is old news.
I mean, it does seem like something that people would, like an easy go-to, you know?
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, where you're going to get a barrel, are you going to do it in your bathtub? I mean, he doesn't go into all that.
Well, that's none of your fucking business, Chris.
Right, and I it seems like something that's really strange to just say out of the blue. But then again, this guy, when we go on, this guy will do things out of the blue that are more than questionable, I should say.
It kind of seems like he might be on the spectrum a little bit.
So, he had a severe head injury that probably knocked him fucking wacky.
That's how you get the diabetes.
So, yeah, their marriage ended because she found out he was cheating on her.
Really? That's what did it?
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit.
Yeah, he was cheating on her.
It wasn't the fucking... all the weird shit and the...
Dude,
okay.
Trust me, you're gonna question a lot more things about why people are looking fucking turning a cheek at this fucking dude.
Maybe he's got the dick.
He might, but I don't. Who the fuck knows? Trust me, this is anyway.
Okay, but I'm not out of line asking, like, really, after everything you just told me.
No, not at all.
That's what it was.
Not at all, because any normal person would fucking have a problem with just those few things.
Right.
And yeah, so apparently she also mentioned that, not only was he cheating on her, but he had some pretty bad anger issues, and as there were 3 specific things that she mentioned that would set him off that were strange to her, but not necessarily strange. They just seemed unfounded for the level of rage that he would go into.
Gotcha.
He absolutely hated if anybody didn't think he was intelligent.
Okay.
If people didn't show him respect. And,
like, just normal respect, or like kneel down, kiss his ring respect?
No, just like if he felt like someone was disrespecting him.
Okay, fair.
Or just didn't have it, for him, then yeah, that would piss him off pretty good. It doesn't say the third one, so that's fucking stupid. But I think it did have, I had seen it in a different article.
People who don't realize the genius of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, I mean, this story is extensive, and it has a lot of wacky details, and a lot of the articles that you may read, or documentaries, or whatever you may see about this story, if you look into it, is not going to have the majority of them, because it's a lot. And
right.
So, I had to, find and compile, and
I understand.
It's a lot.
I'm not at all bashing you or your actual research that you've done this time, because you did a lot of actual research this time, and I'm proud of you.
So, right, well, I mean, it's fun though. This is a fun story, and it needed to be told. It's so anyway, yeah. So the third one still had something to do with basically him being challenged, because these other 2 basically are him being challenged, right?
Right.
So that's the thing. He didn't get into med school, into most of the ones that he applied to, but in July of 1990, he actually was accepted into the University of Utah's College of Medicine.
There goes Utah fucking it up for everybody else again.
While there, he told his classmates and his teachers that his wife and son had died in a horrible car crash.
Mm-hmm.
And that it happened as his wife was driving to pick him up. So he felt really guilty about it. And, this was like his woe is me type of story, I guess.
So is this just Is he an attention seeker? Like, is he like does he just want people's like pity for him? Like, because that's a serious fucking story to make up for presumably no real reason.
Well, at this point, we really don't know.
Okay.
Because, like I said, at this point, there are no reports about any craziness that he's done or anything like that.
Right.
Just that he's had anger issues with his ex-wife and he was cheating on her. His ex-wife has no idea to what extent, to what degree, to
Okay.
blah, blah, blah,
Gotcha.
or at least it doesn't say about the cheating. Now, you will find out what ridiculousness this man gets into with other women.
Gotcha.
The women that he was cheating on her with, it doesn't go into. So as of right now, we don't know why the fuck this man does or says what he says.
And he's just out of college age?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, right. So this is what he tells his classmates and professor, which obviously is true. It's untrue because his,
Right.
Rosemary and the baby are just chilling somewhere else.
Doing terrible things with the devil.
His professor, who knows why, but his professor was kind of suspicious about all this after a little while, and he wound up doing some research, doing some digging in on this story about where he said he comes from and looking into car accidents that had to do with a wife and a mother and child.
I come from France.
Right.
My wife and kid are dead.
And nothing comes up.
Mm-hmm.
He finds absolutely nothing. And then one day, said professor was looking through his textbooks. I don't know why he would, maybe he forgot his textbook in class.
Right.
Or something along those lines. And the professor picks it up and starts, flipping through it or whatever. And out pops, because he saw that because his name was still Armand at this point, he wasn't going by Diazin in this college. So his name was Armand, and he picks up the textbook. He signed something. There was a letter that pops out that he signed Diazin, and he's starting to, because he heard a story and this and that, so he's starting to put weird things together, and he's starting to really, really suspect this guy of not knowing what exactly, but why the fuck would you tell that story? Like, what kind of...
it really doesn't, like I said, I don't see the use in it. Just say that you're fucking divorced or whatever.
What's the motive?
Yeah.
So he keeps thumbing through, and out pops a few letters from Rosemary that are dated recently.
I'm delicious with chicken.
So clearly,
Yes.
this is not cool because Rosemary's asking him to come back to California and, try to, I guess, fix things somehow or whatever.
The dick, man. This guy's got it, and she wants it back.
So, which is not clarified, but could very well be. We are not excluding that as...
It has not yet been substantiated.
That's right.
Because he will not answer my fucking mail.
I don't know, dude. If you write to this guy, he very well might.
And be like, hey, guy, you got the dick, right?
He very well might. He is a talker.
Mm-hmm.
So during this same point in time, while he's telling all these stories and his professor's suspicious of him and all this stuff, he also starts legitimately convincing his fellow students to allow him to draw their blood. Saying that it's part of some study that he's doing or some experiment.
No reason, really. Hey, what's that over there? Ouch. All right, I'll see you guys later.
And then one day, before the professor actually confronts him, he just drops out.
Oh, the perfect crime.
He just dropped out and disappears. And nobody knew why, but as the professor continues to look in, it turned out that he falsified his lab results, falsified his letter of recommendation to even get into the class, and falsified a federal grant application listing him as married to obtain more funding.
Whoever let him in without finding out that all this was falsified, that's who I'm going to blame for whatever terrible shit happens here, because you don't just fucking let people into college without the actual information. How are these people, like, he's just like, yeah, I had, this isn't falsified. And they're like, oh, we trust you. All right, get your silly ass in the class already, you silly ass. You need some of my blood? Because I'd give it to you. All I need is maybe not maybe like a non-falsified reason. Oh, you just want it? Yeah.
Good enough for me, bud.
Do you want my kid's blood too? I can bring it from home.
Good enough for me.
I blame that motherfucker, is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
So apparently, also, he wound up scamming money from 2 women in order to pay for college, to get into college and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, needless to say, they rescinded their their acceptance. And,
I don't think we're going to give him a diploma. Well, let's not be harsh. Maybe we still give him the diploma, but we're like, we give him some blood too at the same time. Right? Guys, everybody?
Yeah, let's take up a contribution,
The eyes have it.
He needs blood and money. I mean, who doesn't? We all need blood and money.
I need blood money.
It does come quicker, doesn't it?
Ew.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
That's right.
She's a bitch, though.
I said it, but glazing over that. Glazing over that. In the early 90s, enter Girly Chew. Or re-enter Girly Chew, I should say.
That was a weird alternate title for Enter the Dragon. I'm Girly Chew.
My brain just started going in all kinds of different fucking kung fu directions.
Yeah.
So yeah, in early 90s, Douche Pickle and Girly Chew wind up both at SeaWorld, and that's where they meet, in San Diego.
That sounds like the coolest sexual position ever, the San Diego Girly Chew Douche Pickle.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
What? And you can only ever call it that if you're not actually in San Diego, though.
The San Diego Girly Chew Douche Pickle. That sounds uncomfortable.
I mean, one of you has to be upside down, which is weird.
Oh, so briny.
Ooh. And the briny deep.
Are we talking dill? Are we talking
Vlasic? Sandwich cut.
Bread and butter?
Sandwich cut Vlasics. Can't afford anything better than that. Not on this podcast and fucking goddamn pay.
That's right. That's right, goddammit. So, they met at SeaWorld.
Just like all those orcas did.
They pretty much hit it off. Were bullshitting. Exchanged addresses to keep in touch as like pen pals and shit. So when she went back to Malaysia, they kept in touch. And in 92, so I guess this must have been 91. It just says early 90s. But in 92, apparently Juice Pickle asked her to marry him. And she planned to move to the U.S. by the end of that year. Before she wound up moving over, Dyson, wrote a letter to her parents saying that, apologizing, loosely apologizing, I'll say, for not coming to meet them in person and, asking them for their blessing and stuff like that. But also, in so many words, going on to add that he didn't care.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm sorry. I know that tradition really kind of dictates me coming to meet the family and making sure that you guys really approve and everything. But at the same time, fuck you. Dyson, don't do shit for nobody but Girly Chew.
I mean, so this letter It was basically that, yeah. Like he didn't give a fuck, but he did care enough to introduce himself to the fullest extent. He said he worked for NASA.
Oh, well, I would trust that instantly from anybody.
Right, and he said that NASA has a National Defense System subdivision called NDS.
And you're the janitor, you say?
Which is where he worked. And he said that he was born in Zurich, Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. It's all tracks so far. Go ahead.
And that he signed the letter as Dyson Hassenkopf, which obviously was just pulled directly out of his ass.
Right. I mean, he can't sign his real name, which is Superman.
Right, but
they would know.
He did actually go and have his name legally changed to Dyson Hassenkopf on July 17th of 92. So
what's the most unwieldy mismatch of nationalities that I can possibly put in a name?
Seriously.
Dyson Hassenkopf instead of freaking Mick O'Malley.
I mean, you might as well have added O'Malley to the end of it. O'Malley Jones.
O'Malley Peterson.
So yeah,
it's hyphenated.
When he and Gurley met, he was going under Dyson Hassenkopf.
I like how it just sounds like you're like being like hip and you're like when he and Gurley met. Like no, that's her name. Her name is Gurley.
Her name is Gurley.
Gurley Chew.
I call her. I guess Shorty would be the funnier one. But either way, screw you guys.
Who guys?
So in order to go ahead and solidify that part of his lie, he went ahead and had it legally done before she got there.
Ah, so that way when they went to the chapel to get married, like the guy in the robes, Old Man Jenkins, he'd be like, "This is his real name, Gurley," and she'd be like, "How did you know my name?" He's like, "I just call everybody Gurley."
So, yeah, he has now thrown out a whole nother fictitious storyline, origin story, and all this shit that he now has to somehow, in some way, solidify before she gets there, because she's coming from another country and he's freaking marrying her. Like this is
has he been actually for real legally divorced?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes, I do believe so. So in the summer of 92, just before she arrives in the U.S., he moves to a new place on Delmar Ave in Albuquerque. He goes on to introduce himself to his neighbors as a scientist, told them that he once had a wife who was severely injured in a horrible car crash, and that his 2 young children now died in that crash.
I don't like how he's being willy-nilly with the lives of his kids and his made-up stories.
That is a weird reoccurring thing for him, because it does come up a couple more times.
I will say, though,
Don't know why.
I would assume that dead kids are certainly a better manipulation tool than a dead wife, I guess.
True that.
Because
I would say
everybody's going to be like, "Oh, not your kids," but some people would be like, "I bet she was a bitch anyway, huh? Bet you're glad she's gone." Man, I am, and I never even met her. Hi, my name's Scott. I live down the street. I'm kind of a gossipy bitch.
And a douche pickle as well.
And a haberdasher.
So also, just to add to the realness of this guy, for lack of a better way to say it, he was also a snake oil salesman.
Did he really sell snake oil?
Not literally, but that's why I said as a lack of a better way to say it.
I always wondered what snake oil would be good for.
I mean, people used to actually sell it. Yeah, it was.
I have a lot that ails me. I should look into the snake oil. If anybody out there is a snake oil salesman, but like for real, hit me up, yo.
Hook it up. So he claimed to be a geneticist. And sold people fake cancer treatments.
Man, that... As if this guy couldn't be more scum of the earth.
Oh, man. No.
I sell the weakest and most vulnerable in our society fucking promises, basically, that are more like lies.
It's gonna get weirder and more terrible.
Man,
So
this guy is good at being bad.
he also sold them anti-aging serums.
Okay, whoever bought anti-aging serums from Heisen, I'm kind of gonna have to say the terrible line of, you kind of deserve cancer, you stupid fuck.
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
So getting even weirder. He would regularly tell people, including his neighbors, that he had leukemia, and that he was going to be dying a few months later, and that he actually used this particular lie to help sell his fake cancer treatments, and scare up money from people for his treatments. So that he was scamming people that he had cancer on one side,
Right.
and scamming money out of actual cancer patients for cures on another side.
It's like, I want to say he's such a fucking asshole cocksucker, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I kind of want to try that.
This guy thinks he is a supervillain mastermind.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. He takes the fucking cake so far.
So, you've been strapped to our table with a laser on it, Mr. Jenkins.
Mr. Jenkins.
I shall be taking over ownership of your haberdashery.
Yeah, haberdashery.
I have leukemia.
So he would tell the people that he was scamming for his own cancer treatments that he has found not a cure, but a treatment program that will extend his final days for a few more years, and that it goes in 3 phases, and they're really expensive, but the first phase will keep him alive for 8 years, and the second phase will keep him alive for another 5, and the third phase will keep him alive for another 2.
Wow,
But
it's like power-ups in a video game. It just gets more expensive the higher up you go, and you can only do each one once. It's like leveling up. And he's like, I could totally get you guys the Triforce if I could just get past stage 9. I'm gonna need some more money to. No, I can't tell you where the Triforce is. No, it's a well-held secret that only haberdashers are allowed to know.
So because he had both opposite stories going on, with different people, he was using that same story, but in the opposite way, to scam the cancer patients.
Right.
But in saying that it actually is a cure, all while still using the fact that he himself had leukemia. So for some people he does have it, for some people he doesn't. But for those people, he's saying that this is the treatment that cured him. And
I'm listening.
That now that it's in his blood, he can perform treatments for them by mixing his own blood.
This is why I need all you guys' blood all the time. It's not because I keep misplacing it and not being able to find it again. By the way, though, I need some more of your blood.
By the way, each phase is 90 grand.
90 grand?
90,000.
Man, you guys come to me and I'll do the same exact thing that he was doing for those other people, but I'll do it for $90.
And in these few years, he wound up scamming people out of a few $100,000.
Well, that would only be like 3 people we need to do to get a few 100,000.
I mean, fair enough. But it's just not for those 2 lies. I mean, he has a couple going on, fake research projects and such, and those are going to get more fun as well.
I am building the best soapbox racer that you will ever see.
No. So one of them is that he claimed that he could create humans in petri dishes, and he said that he invented a machine that could successfully map out the entire human genome and that he was on the cusp of making billions of dollars on this project, and that, you know, he protected his investment, and this machine, his invention, by breaking it down into 5 separate pieces and storing it in 5 colleges throughout this country.
Oh, so now we have like a national treasure type fucking idiot.
Harry Potter sort of scenario. Yeah.
You can only see it with this magic map that I made that I've somehow misplaced with all of your blood. I'm gonna need some more of that blood, by the way. I know I mentioned that earlier, but I'm gonna need that to be in the forefront of your mind there, because man, I got to have it. I can't live without it, and I don't know why. I find it so delicious.
Gimme that red stuff.
Man, Life Liquid is the shit. But it's not... If you find your Life Liquid in your shit, you should probably see a real doctor.
You really should.
Because that means that you've got some really terrible things going on in your butt.
I mean, it could just be a fissure, but, you
don't eat fish. Don't eat fissures, because that's how you get those. You have to make sure you take out the hooks first.
Trim your nails if you're going to scratch your butthole. That's all I'm saying. So...
Get your fingers out of there. That's what I'm saying.
Amongst the people that Douche Pickle was scamming was his 70-year-old neighbor, Pedro. And his wife,
Pedro.
Pedro and his wife, Pedro was actually really nice, and
every Pedro I've ever met has been really nice.
They thought they had Pedro thought he and Diazan had a genuine fucking friendship going on and stuff.
Doesn't it always feel bad when you think like you have an actual friend and then they like fuck you over in a way where you're like, wow, that's not just like being a bad friend. That's someone who played me purely to fuck me over and made me believe that they were my friend, which they obviously were not.
That's right.
And you tell me how that feels when I do it to you.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
What is a CV?
What do you mean? In what context?
Well, it says he had a 7-page CV where he spoke about all of his numerous academic degrees and accolades.
I'm guessing it's got to be some kind of kind of like a
resume, but
a resume, but for proving to people that you're totally a NASA fucking
I gotcha
vampire.
Gotcha. So, yes, in these 7 pages of his
7 pages
boasting and bullshit,
I don't know if he reached too far with it, or if maybe you have to be really believed. You have to go past like no, I'm not. I'm just this couple things. And he's like, no, I am everything.
Well, I mean, it seems to have worked for quite a while. So I guess he was doing it right. So he mentioned that he was the author of over 40 medical research papers.
I thought you were going to say of Cujo and stuff, because he looks a lot like Stephen King.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. I would have believed him if he said he was Stephen King, is all I'm saying.
It claimed that he worked in a cryogenic laboratory research... worked as a cryogenic laboratory research chemist at Stanford. This 7 pages was full of typos and misspellings.
I was just about to say, so what happens the day that he meets someone that actually did these things? And they're like, oh, no, you seem kind of fucking stupid.
Well, these are the types of people that don't put themselves around the people that can out them.
Don't you talk about Pedro like that.
I would think.
Pedro was a saint.
It's like, he went into all kinds of ridiculousness about that. It doesn't say any more about it, but I guess, so it goes on to the December 28th. I think this is still 1992.
Just 3 days after baby Jesus' birthday. And the old Jesus, too. That's 3 days after his birthday. I wonder if they know each other.
Who?
The baby Jesus and the old Jesus. They have so much in common. I'm gonna have to
but
ask.
I don't know if they hang out or anything.
I'm gonna have to ask. There's this guy that looks like Stephen King, but he's actually Jesus. He tells me. I'm gonna ask him.
I mean, who really wants to hang out with a baby?
I mean, if you eat babies, you know. which I assume Jesus
Well, I guess
did.
it depends on what kind of hanging out we're talking about.
I'm talking about butt sex. I'm not. I'm not at all, and I don't know how we got there. It's the rhythm. Come on, shake your body, baby. Do that, Jesus.
If you'd like to comment, send your gripings to care of Jason Rambo at snhnsnpod@gmail.com. You chicken fluffers.
I mean, it only costs the same amount as a cup of coffee per day.
That's right. It's only 69 cents a
You
minute.
can get these flies off of my eyeballs and my distended tummy for less than the cup of coffee a day.
It is so sad.
It
so
is.
sad.
I just need a bath, guys, is all it is.
So, December 28th, he goes out and he buys a $7,500 ring for Girly Chew, and then she arrives the next day in Albuquerque.
Like, he couldn't fucking go with the $8,000 ring and it's $7,500. You fucking...
Then, pretty promptly, on January 8th of 1993, they were married, and they started living together in Albuquerque.
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 That's
not
where
gonna talk
Bugs
about
Bunny
Quirky.
lives. He just can't find his house. He always takes those wrong turns. Ends up in Siberia and shit.
Girly, already being very familiar with working at banks, goes ahead and gets a job at another bank.
How old is she?
She is 21.
And he, at this stage, is...
Let's see, this is 93. He was born in, as it doesn't say, one sec. Let me scroll back.
Because he graduated Fate College in, like, 90 or whatever. Right?
Yeah, he was born in 65.
Okay.
So, 75, 85. He was...
Almost 30?
He was 28.
Yeah, okay.
He was 28. She was 22, 21 or 22.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me get back to where I am. Where was I? Further.
You certainly weren't in Albuquerque.
We certainly were not. Okay, past that. Sorry, kids.
I'll cut this. I'll cut it out.
He made me scroll.
It's a bit too much of a scroll. I'm gonna cut that part out.
Your face is.
I'm gonna forget that I said that though, and I'm just gonna be like, "There's a cough, exterminate," and that's all I do.
You're gonna listen to it. Oh yeah, because you just look at the fucking soundbar and shit, huh? Mm-hmm. You shit brick.
Hey man, sometimes laziness helps me be lazy.
It does. No, I feel you. So there we go. She gets a job at the Bank of New Mexico in Montgomery. Oh, sorry, on Montgomery Boulevard.
I was about to say, when did they get to fucking Alabama?
And she meets a lady named Ernie Johnson.
If you tell me it's actually just him in drag,
that would be fucking hilarious, and I would not put that past this guy.
It would so totally tie in the Miss Doubtfire thing. I'm just saying. Think about it.
Jeez. So, so her position, she and Ernie, at some point, while they were working there, their positions were moved to another branch of the bank on Renaissance Boulevard, and apparently this was a branch that had a high turnover rate. Like, and I don't understand this at a bank. Like, how do you slack off at a bank like that? I don't understand what.
Well, I mean,
that doesn't.
What if the position they gave them was missionary?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to do a whole lot for that, huh?
No.
I mean,
I have had some lazy ass lovers.
Oh yeah,
I have been an even lazier one.
Now there are ways for them to show some enthusiasm,
to spice up the relationship
down there
a little bit. It's like spray some clove oil, ladies, before you do it. And it just
ladies, if you're in one of those positions where you think you can't really
Put a pillow under your
you
lower
don't
back.
have to do much.
It's really going to help both of you get a whole lot more comfortable
Just
and
try.
Get
Just
more.
try.
You get a little bit more mileage out of it that
Try
way.
to be enthusiastic. That's all I'm asking for. So,
Even if it's a lie.
yeah, I mean, shit. So, yeah. Girly, on the other hand, didn't really care about, how poopy the branch was really to work at, because she was a good worker and she was a happy worker and she showed up every day and she was on time. She was actually ahead of time.
I'm sure that any day that she woke up not in China was probably
Malaysia.
a great fucking day for her.
Fair enough.
Malaysia. That's what I said. I'm
Fair
not
enough.
racist.
I would believe that as well.
That I'm not racist? Have you done this show with me?
That and, Malaysia
Man.
thing. So,
Maybe you should eat some more beans.
she,
Sorry, that was a joke, people.
Mhm.
It was a racist joke, and it was focused directly toward my best friend and co-host.
at least he didn't say anything about me having a mop or a lawnmower.
No.
So, moving right along.
I hired people that were better at that than you.
That's right, because I and lawn work, yard work are not friends. So, she was, always regarded as one of the best employees because, like I said, she was never late. She actually showed up first, before managers, before everybody. She never missed a shift. She never called in. She never fucking nothing. She was number one model employee.
People like that worry me about their home lives.
And Ernie wasn't half bad either. No, she had a very strong work ethic.
No, I mean, in my own life, I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Like, why the fuck do you like being here so much? Does your husband beat you? Do you need to be saved?
We're gonna get into
My
lot of
superhero name is Captain Save-A-Ho.
So, for whatever... Boys and girls, if you have any comments, send them care of Buttlicker Rambo, because he will save your hoe and lick your butt.
My cousin Buttlicker's going to be real surprised about all these fucking emails he's getting.
That's right. For whatever reason, for the next 5 years, she and Ernie spent every Christmas and Thanksgiving together at Ernie's place.
Now, Ernie is the co-worker, correct?
Yes.
So
A
not,
woman.
So then not her husband.
Right. A woman, though. This is a woman.
There aren't Ernie's women's. What? There's a woman named Ernie.
It does not say why she was not spending this with her husband.
But it does say that Ernie was a woman.
Yes, Ernie was a woman.
Okay, because I've only known in my life two Ernies, and one was married to Bert, and the other one is my sister-in-law's Down syndromed brother. But I guess that is more of a nickname for him, Ernie. That's not his actual name.
Right. Ernest.
No, that is his real name.
Or Ernesto.
We call him Buddha. Kind of ties it into the Malaysian thing. I'm thinking it might be the same Ernie.
Is he a woman?
No.
All right. Well, you might be wrong.
Man, I think I probably am. Go ahead.
Either way, in February of '96, Diazin and Gurley moved, but only a couple miles away.
Okay.
And this is when apparently he started going out of town for a few days here and there, sometimes a week or more.
Well, when you're a leukemia scientist at NASA,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got a G.
Sometimes it is necessary to get to stepping.
Hey, before we go, can you guys hit me up with those blood vials?
I mean,
I've been sending you letters constantly about them. I need
it would really help.
for my work, I think.
So yeah, he said that it was part of his calling, that he was blessed with the incredible skill to save lives, and that and when he got back, he would tell Gurley about how he would be performing these 12 to 16 hour life-saving surgeries mainly on women and or children who suffered horrible car crashes.
Just like my ex-wife. And wait, no, you don't think I did that, right? Okay, no. Girly, forget I said the thing about the car crash and ex-wife and kids.
It's a very strange thing. Like,
yeah.
Why that keeps coming? Like, it's got to be just it's a strange ploy. But
I think, okay, I'll tell you why. It is both extremely effective at pulling heartstrings, and at the same time, it is so beyond the listener's ability to question it, because that would be in such bad fucking taste.
I feel that.
If they were like, your kids didn't die in a car crash, and he was like, here's the fucking newspaper clipping, dick.
Right.
You know, and yeah, you get fired over shit like that, so yeah.
I imagine you could get punched in the mouth for some shit like that.
Not if you're Ernie. Bert would have some shit to say about that.
But yeah, this is what he would tell his own wife.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's weird, but
I think this is all perfectly normal.
they were doing all right financially. I mean, as far as Girly knew, she knew nothing of any of this other bullshit that he's got going on.
Right. Why do we keep getting vials of blood mailed to the house? I told the mailman they couldn't possibly be for us. He's like, oh no, they're for you. Okay, thanks. I guess I'll bake a cake or something. Ernie, do you want to come over and bake a cake with me? No, I'm at work. And plus Bert is like super like horny right now. When I get home, he's like, I mean, you know Bert.
Bert's a brownie kind of guy. That's what it is. She just didn't want to
He
tell
likes the
Girly
butthole, is what Chris means.
So, within their house, there was this one room that he kept locked at all times, and Girly was not allowed in. No one was allowed in.
Public service announcement: if there's a room in your house, people that you're not allowed in by your significant other, they have dead bodies in there, and you should fucking either call the police or just leave. You know, but leave forever. Ah!
That would be
Fuck was that?
someone watching the camera, probably Regina.
Hi, Regina. How are you?
And she can also talk to us through that camera.
Do you want to do some of the episode with us? It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
No?
So,
Okay.
So, yeah, when he was home, which apparently was fairly seldom.
Do you have a room that you can't go into? And she was like, that was her like, hey, stop talking about the secret room.
When he was home, he'd spend a lot of time in there himself. But she was never allowed to come in or know what was going on in there.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so...
Where he keeps all the kids he keeps killing in car crashes.
So, during all of this as well, they're trying to get pregnant. Or Girly's trying to get pregnant.
Okay, good.
Yeah, stop.
And the Mrs. Doubtfire thing was going to come in again.
Dad joke business.
Please stop me.
Because he wanted a child. She really wasn't all that interested in it, but, she was like, okay, whatever, I'll do this for my husband. But turns out that she was unable to have children, medically.
But how will he kill things in car crashes?
But also that she really had no interest in adopting either.
Well, yeah, who wants somebody else's smelly kid?
I mean, but no, there were a couple other really good reasons, such as the fact that she was convinced her husband had leukemia.
Oh shit!
So she didn't know how long.
I didn't know that was part of his charade with her.
I mean, at this point, that's when we're finding it out that he really just tells everybody this all the time.
That's just his go-to. He's like, I'll never be able to keep this straight with everybody. I'm just going to tell everybody I have leukemia.
Well, pretty much so that at least everybody, has that sympathy for him, and he can figure out who and how he's going to spin that.
If somebody's like, ew, leukemia, fuck you. Then he
That's-
knows not to spend any more time there with
That's
that.
exactly right.
He's
That's
like,
exactly
you
right.
could have had your blood taken by me, but now I don't even want it.
Or as soon as people start mentioning, oh, you should go to this treatment hospital and blah, 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 he just like walk away or whatever.
I know what could actually save you, a doctor. I got a good one. You want to see him? No, thanks. Oh, so you're a liar. Okay.
So in essence, she didn't know, you know, if he was gonna die at some point, or if any of this shit that he said was true, or she didn't, you know, she just kind of went along with it, and but that's good reasons for not wanting to adopt children.
He's
You don't
my
want to be,
husband.
you don't want to be a single parent if you can avoid it, that sort of thing.
And you could always put the kid up for adoption again after your spouse dies.
Oh, jeez. That is probably the worst thing you've ever said on this channel.
Hey, adoption kid.
on this-
Turns out I
this-
don't like you.
That's fucked up,
I'm
dude.
gonna have to have you go. Maybe get another one. Do you know any other good adoption kids? No? Okay. Bye.
So
That's not the worst thing I've ever said on this show, by the way.
It might be.
I don't know.
It might be.
It's close.
It's in the category anyway.
It's
It's
in
definitely
the runnings, I guess.
It's definitely in the running. So
The cool runnings.
shut your face. You shut it right now. It's bobsled time. So they agreed not to adopt, and they decided to get a dog instead.
I wish more people would do that. The ones that weren't ready to adopt a kid that they will love forever and ever, you know,
Yeah,
just get a dog because
There's plenty of dogs that need adoption.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess not too long after they adopted said dog, Girly loved the dog.
Oh.
And but she shows up to Ernie's house
If you tell me it died in a car crash,
at like 7 a.m. So early, I guess, for their shift or whatever. And when she answers the door, when Ernie answers the door, she notices that Girly's crying, and Girly tells her that the dog somehow just randomly started shaking and convulsing and just fucking died right in her arms.
I think it caught his leukemia.
So that was kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. What the fuck?
That was a little bit wacky, but no clue as to how or why that happened. You know, they're not going to go get an autopsy.
The fact that she is so open and honest with Ernie is refreshing to me. That there's a best friend for her to go to, because a lot of the people that are involved with and or married to monsters like this, they don't have anybody else, and that's
Agreed.
they are just lost and alone.
And
so
or
I'm super actually genuinely happy that she had Ernie for however long she had Ernie.
Right. Well, I mean, even a lot of times, even if they do have people that constantly tell them they're there to help, and they're just so terrified,
Right.
and or whatever else the mental states you could be in when it comes to that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't, and that is fucking tragic. But we're not going to go
Right.
too far into that because it's fucking tragic. But so yes, I agree. It's very refreshing and. Yeah, it's super cool. So yeah, and everybody genuinely likes Girly a lot and is out for her well-being and does go to the degrees that they possibly can to help her.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it. So that's the thing. She shows up at Ernie's, tells her about the dog. She cries and the kind of life goes on sort of thing.
What did Bert have to say about it?
Bert wanted to make sausages. He was,
and you would think that that's not cool of him to do, but I think he's like, let's get back to normal. Guys.
We had to show him an episode, about how hot dogs are not really made of dogs, and then he understood. It was all good.
Hot dogs. Made of dogs or just delicious?
I mean, Girly refrained from telling her what goes on in Malaysia, but that's a story for another time.
They eat cats, not dogs.
The fuck they don't. Moving right along. They got another dog.
Well, that's what you do.
And somehow that one managed to disappear.
Just
It
disappear?
apparently escaped from their backyard. And one day after that happened,
Uh-huh.
not the very next day, but,
Right.
shortly thereafter that happened, Douche Pickle shows up with a baby.
Look what I found!
Uh-huh.
It was flying out of some car that was in some accident.
A 3-week-old human child.
Where the fuck?
He shows up to his wife, who is looking at him like you just looked at me. What the fuck? And because, obviously there was no adoption process. There was
Right.
no talk, no conversation, no agreement, no fucking nothing. This motherfucker just shows up with a baby like, here, bitch, have fun with this. I'm going to go check out
Yeah.
my calling again.
I'm gonna go on the road. I did take a lot of blood from this baby, though, so maybe get to boob feeding it. And do it in that rocking chair that non-discrete camera's pointed at. I think I got something going on the internet. It's a big idea, and I know it might fail, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna show you boob feeding stuff. Maybe just the baby. We'll see what happens. I did buy a Rottweiler too, though.
Mhm.
It disappeared. I'm sorry. Your dog died again. I'm sorry you couldn't meet it.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, he did not like it here. But apparently, though, when it comes down to it, this baby is actually his genetically.
Oh, no shit.
That was that he had with another woman, and
Hey, lady that I've been fucking on the side, do you mind if I take this baby and bring it
Right.
to my wife?
right. So he tells Girly
Hmm.
that there was an adoption process, right? That the mother was Asian and that he had obtained legal sole custody
Mm-hmm.
through illegal. It says illegal adoption,
Mm-hmm.
and that was all he ever said.
Oh.
But
And like CPS and stuff, or like nobody gave a shit.
I think this is supposed to say illegal adoption
Alien
because so
adoption?
far, he doesn't admit to illegal things.
Right.
I think this is just misspelled.
I gotcha.
So, so she doesn't bother to question it any further, and she
I
agrees
was
to
his wife,
take
I'd be
care of
like,
this baby.
I would probably keep my fucking mouth shut until he was gone too. But you best believe the second he's out of there, I'm like, Bert, come over quick. We've got to see who this baby is. And then they rip off the baby's mask, and it's Old Man Jenkins.
And somehow,
The haberdasher's coming again.
somehow, 3 weeks old, he's still able to, it must be a fucking genius to mention how he would have got away with it too, had it not been.
Talking about some dog, but we don't have a dog. You know? Something about snacks. I was like, I'm not feeding you. You're a fucking baby in a mask.
Baby in a mask. Like, what do you... How are we supposed to clean both chins at the same time? You can't do that. That's just not...
No, baby in a mask is a different sex position. Yeah.
No, I'm not putting much thought into that.
You can only do that one in San Diego.
So they named the baby Dimitri.
Because of course.
And
I don't know what that means, sorry.
by January of 98, they had been married for almost 6 years.
Holy fucking
And-
shit. Crazy bitch. I'm sorry. I don't like calling people bitch and definitely not victims, but the fuck crazy bitch.
By that
Jesus.
time, she was definitely suspecting that he was talking to other women.
Shouldn't you be dead of leukemia by now?
Yeah. So this is the most ridiculous wording to say that she suspected, because she would literally get phone calls to her house asking about the baby and asking for dyes and claiming that they are his fiance.
Wow. Hey, so my fiance took off with our baby like a year or two ago. Have you seen it?
It's a little chubby
I think
Mexican
it's a little
Asian kid.
early to call the cops about it, but I figured I might call his wife. Wait a second. No, no, I don't have any problems with that.
This is insanity. What could you possibly be saying to women, to these women, to to like, especially the mother of this baby. What the fuck?
Look,
Like,
I
did
gotta
he
go
to
get
Malaysia?
cigarettes, and the baby's gotta come with me.
Like,
And-
I'm assuming he actually went to another country again and got a girl knocked up, and
So
then,
so the baby
quote
has
unquote
to,
rescued said baby.
the baby has to be stolen from the original mother. Yes, is what you're positing? Because
No, I'm thinking more so legal adoption within the other country.
But it's his baby.
in-
he doesn't have to adopt his baby.
no, I guess not. Yeah.
His mayonnaise is what makes up that baby's makeup.
So then it would just be talking the other woman into signing the papers
And never seeing her child.
right.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't know, man. This guy should have been Asia youthened.
I don't know how anything this man says it could be considered, silver tongue or anything like that. Like
His voice is the voice of a fucking nerd, and it's not even the good, affable type nerd. There's no lisp there or anything.
Oh, I wish.
It's like he's not even fucking trying.
But seriously, nothing about anything that comes out of this dude's mouth would have been convincing to me. I think. I honestly
It is
believe.
like, so my dick has leukemia, yes, but it also cures athlete's foot. So I got that going for me, ladies, and then Malaysia.
So for the last who knows how long they've been married for almost 6 years now, and for the last who knows how long she has been receiving phone calls from his other fiancés apparently,
I am not your secretary.
and asking about this baby. So one day, I guess he leaves. I don't know. It doesn't say if he's out of town or if he's just gone for the day or whatever. But he leaves his room unlocked.
The room?
Yes, and she finally...
That's his own fault. Fuck him.
finally goes ahead and goes in and checks it out.
There's like 17 more babies in here.
So, yeah, she finds, amongst other things, a 3-page letter from an Albuquerque attorney, and it basically revealed to her all of the lies that he had built his life on, and their marriage. And she, in the letter, she found out that he had been ordered by the courts to stay away from another woman. She found out his real name. She found out that he had 4 social security numbers.
How do you do that?
That the FBI had visited him about something that we'll get into.
Okay.
She found out that he wasn't actually a real scientist, and that he had dropped out of med school, and that he had been scamming a fuck ton of people out of money, because she found other papers that were like romantic letters from other women.
Mm-hmm.
This document she found from 1995 that proved he was impersonating a doctor, and that he'd been giving all of these treatments to other women. So all these cancer treatments and stuff.
With his dick?
So she confronted him.
With his dick.
At this point,
Mm-hmm.
he has not been a crazy person.
I mean, that's debatable. He's
Right.
not been a dangerously crazy
Now,
person.
you remember his ex-wife did say that he had some rage issues,
Yeah,
and that was part of the reason she divorced him.
right.
But so far, just no charges or nothing. He hasn't shown that he's a crazy person. So she confronts him about this.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the fucking rage monster.
Uh-oh.
Like I said, the other two things that, that basically being called out is what pisses him off.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Anybody saying, I kind of found out that you were a liar?
Uh-huh.
Why are you looking at me like that with those eyes full of rage?
On the 17th of January,
Mm-hmm.
1998, which is my birthday, actually, I was 18 years old.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that that's when you were born. I was like, that's a lie.
No.
Mm.
No. So, it doesn't say that was that was tied to this confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
It just says that on this day he flipped out. So I'd like to think that it was. But maybe it wasn't.
I like to think lots of things. That's not one of them, but you keep on thinking.
So, that's right. It was a different situation. So he had found out that she had actually gone to the extent of contacting one of his girlfriends that had...
They've been contacting her the whole fucking time.
Right, exactly. So that wasn't very difficult. And let her know that he was in fact married.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever else she wound up telling her.
Mm-hmm.
So that night that he had confronted her about that, he had been drinking, and
7-Up, which makes lots of people worried.
so also at that time they had an attendant living with them.
So, like a servant?
I mean, they were doing pretty well financially thanks to all of his scamming, but
They made servant money?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it was, maybe it was a live-in nanny.
Okay.
Because they did have the baby and stuff.
Gotcha.
And he was gone a lot, and she did still have a job and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it was probably a nanny, but it does just say an attendant.
Okay.
And so they had another person named Shelly Abrams, who was living in the house. She had her own room and everything. And in this fit of rage, he starts pushing her. He starts slapping her around a little bit.
Mm-mm.
Then he grabs her by the hair, puts her in a headlock, and starts squeezing the shit out of her neck, right? Well, she's almost passing out at that time. But before she does, he starts punching her in the face.
That sounds a lot like what Chris Benoit did to his family.
Wow.
What?
I just wasn't expecting that. Okay, yeah, no, it kind of does.
Mm.
So he's got her in the grip, and he's fucking jamming her in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Shelly comes out of her room hearing all the commotion, and she's like, what the fuck? And he says nothing to her, or doesn't acknowledge her at all. He pushes Girly into their bedroom, slams the door, throws Girly up against the wall, and continues to punch her in the fucking face.
Mm.
And so Girly is like, I mean, when you see pictures of her full frame, she's like all of 5 foot tall. Like with in the investigations and such, the actual detectives and things when they were, which I'll get into what evidence they find. But as they're digging through the evidence, before they were able to match it to her, they thought they were looking for like a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, because the picture of this chick shows me that, like, soaking wet, she's maybe 75 pounds.
Yeah, this is a teeny tiny Asian woman. So he is just wrecking this poor girl, just smashing her in the face.
I mean, he is Mexican and Japanese and German. And so he's definitely stronger than some poor little Asian lady, you know?
So, I mean, just by blood alone.
Mm-hmm. I got all this blood. I've been drinking it for a long time. It gives me powers. Powers of name changing.
The blood. And now, he's trying to forcibly get some of Girly's. But that's not funny.
You just made a non-funny. Send your emails care of Chris. Shut the fuck.
So within this this abuse going on in their bedroom behind the closed door that Shelly Abrams is still listening to, somehow he knocks her into a bookcase or pushes a bookshelf or whatever down on top of her.
Wow.
But that's enough, and Shelly calls Pedro next door, the old man.
Mm-hmm.
And
save me, feeble old man.
This whole time, Pedro's thinking, guys and cool people, so he wasn't expecting this. But Shelly tells her what's going on, and she says he's gonna kill her. So Pedro comes over and goes in the, opens the door and watches, is witnessing, dies, and just holding her by the neck, punching her in the face still. And, he tries to get him to stop, but he doesn't acknowledge him whatsoever. So, being a boss of an old man, he physically throws himself in between them.
Good.
Telling Girly to just run over to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And she does. And so, yeah, when that happens, I'm sorry.
Pedro's like, I thought we were friends. And he's like, no, I don't even have leukemia, you idiot.
I'm not helping you, supporting your treatments any longer.
Thanks for telling my wife where to run. I know where you live.
So, yeah, I mean, Girly, again, as brave as she is, goes ahead and calls the cops from Pedro's house. Yeah, they show up, and she has obviously been destroyed.
Yeah.
Eyes swollen shut and such. And he was immediately arrested and charged with domestic violence, aggravated battery on a household member, and assault on a household member.
And your haircut looks stupid, too.
Oh, I'm sure it did at the time. It was a fugly mullet. So, 7 hours. Now, this is insane. This is ridiculous. Never have I heard of such a quick process. 7 hours after being arrested, he was able to post bond and freed. What?
Wow.
What?
The least amount of time I've ever spent in a jail waiting an easy release was like, I don't know, 17 hours?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. And to add to that fuckery, a year later, the courts dismissed all 3 charges.
Oh, did Pedro die?
No. Pedro's still around. Okay. Pedro's still around. On another occasion, on the 24th of January, 1999, so just a little over a year later, now that his charges have been dismissed somehow, and she's still with him, they're sitting in bed.
What the fuck, man?
Right, and they still have this baby. They're sitting in bed watching TV, and just randomly he turns and looks at her, and he says, tomorrow I want you to go and get me a menu from the restaurant at the Hyatt Hotel, and make sure you take the freeway.
That's so specific. I really don't want to do it.
So she agrees, but she's like, okay.
Can I have Bert come with me?
And so he gets up and walks away, and a few minutes later she hears a noise, I guess some alarm of some sort within the house that like a door opening
right,
type of noise, right? And she's like, she gets up to go look. And he's been gone for a little while. She gets up and goes and looks, and she peeks into the garage, and she sees this motherfucker hanging out by the back of her car around the rear tire with some tools. And it looks like he's trying to do something like loosen the tire somehow or some shit like that.
Okay.
And she decides to make the comment, what are you trying to do, kill me?
Wow. People should learn not to ask people that when it looks like they actually are trying to.
Right.
Because that's just going to be like, well, now you know, so the surprise is gone. Yeah, so come here, I'm going to kill you.
Well, yeah, because, he, I guess, then just proceeds to get up and decides to shove her head into the car. And she manages to hit the garage door opener and scurry underneath. And
just like Indiana Jones.
Right, and roll out and start running.
Did she get her hat?
No, she missed the hat. But as the door's opening, he starts chasing her. She winds up making it over to Pedro's house in time. And And she's banging on the door. Pedro's wife opens the door, and they let her in. And they're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Right?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, hey, he's going to kill me. And so she's so shook that she can't even, like, physically drink the water that they offer her. She is fucking shook because obviously he's trying to fucking do something to her car, you know, not knowing what the hell this man is literally capable of now, because clearly he's capable of beating the fuck out of her right in her face.
But hey, guys, I need to go pick something up for him tomorrow from my hotel. Do you guys know the best way to the freeway? Just while I'm here. You guys been here a long time. You know what? We'll talk about that later. Let's call the cops.
So, brave girly calls the cops again. And she's sitting at Pedro's house, and they show up, and they get her statement. And as she's sitting there telling them what's going on, there's a knock at the door. And she's terrified, so she runs into the other room. And if it's him, he busts in and throws Pedro against the wall.
With the police there?
I'm assuming so, because that's what it says. It says specifically, verbatim. Mm-hmm. She calls the police from their house and then sits down to tell them what's going on. And as she sits there, so maybe not.
Okay, she's
telling
Pedro and his wife. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Right, so he busts in and slams Pedro against the wall, demanding, "Where's Girly?" Pedro does not give her up. Right, and
I don't know who you're talking about.
And then I guess dies and goes into telling them, well, fuck it, I never want to see her again. Mm-hmm. And he left.
That's why I was trying to kill her, guys.
Right. And so he leaves and goes back home. The police finally show up, and they get her statement, and they escort her to the house to grab her stuff.
Come on, we're going to bring you back to where he is so you can sleep tonight.
No.
I know. I'm just saying that's what they seem to be doing anyway.
Right. Well, she winds up going and filling out and going through the process of getting a full-on restraining order.
Fuck.
And it says, went to see a doctor for a court-ordered examination to document her injuries. Mm-hmm. As they said, she had numerous cuts, abrasions, and bruises. And the words, "husband tried to kill her," appeared near the top of the medical evaluation. That's fucked. So she started looking for a new apartment.
On what grounds?
She only moved about 2 miles away, which is...
Well, even though she knows it's not hers, god damn it, she loves that kid.
Mm. Yep, about that kid.
Uh-oh.
There's more. There's plenty more to deal with him.
Yes. Good.
We'll get into it.
Oh, was it him? Was it? I don't think you told me. I've just been assuming.
Oh, no, he's still around.
No, the fact that it's a boy.
Oh, yeah, no, his name is Dimitri. I did say that.
You did say that, but you also said that Ernie's a chick's name, so I don't know who to believe anymore. Certainly not you.
So, fair point. So the apartment complex that she moves into, yes, is only about 2 miles away, but it is gated. It does have a big old tall gate around it, and it's a decent sized complex, and she moved to one of the rear apartments so that it was all the way in the back and kind of, tougher to find and whatever.
And he's got leukemia. It's not like he's got all that stamina to be looking everywhere.
Right. So, she was, at this point, obviously in fear for her life every day.
Right.
And because not knowing what the fuck he's capable of, she didn't tell anybody where she moved to.
Right. Good.
Except not even Ernie. She didn't even tell Ernie. She would go over to Ernie's house, but nobody would come to her house. Although there was this one kid.
Uh-oh.
Who was a couple years younger than her, but it was a guy who, one of her coworkers, who helped her move in.
Okay.
She did allow him to help her move in because he's very protective of her. Like he treats her like
Okay, like
a sister.
Right.
Right.
So genuinely not trying to bang, just
Right.
worried for and wanted to help.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because by this point, all her coworkers do know what's going on.
How could they not?
Yeah. They know not to let this guy know anything about her.
Mm-hmm.
He is calling her work and trying to get a hold of her and stuff like that.
Isn't that violating the protective order?
For sure it is. Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of the least of what goes down. So still, yes, this is the only person that knows where she lives.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, February 9th of 1999. She finally did receive the restraining order, the temporary restraining order, and she gave it to her boss, Kathy, so that, and that's when she let all her coworkers know what's going on. And, she went to the extent of literally telling them, if I ever don't show up for work,
It's because he killed me.
yeah, he did something.
Right.
Right. And obviously they all know her work ethic is
Spotless.
yes, completely impeccable. So yeah, she, like I said, she pretty much lives in fear all the fucking time. And she filed for divorce. She also during that time was fighting to be able to see Dimitri, because she loves the baby at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone wholeheartedly into it. And by the end of March, though, she wound up signing papers terminating her right to see Dimitri, because basically she figured that was probably strategically better for her own life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more that she fought to see that baby, the more he was going to be able to manipulate the baby seeing into something that he needed instead. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't stay away from him if you can't stay away from the baby that he has fucking custody of. So yeah, that sucks. But in her meager earnings and such, now living on her own, she still agreed to pay $100 a month child support for this baby. Now, granted, it's only $100, but still.
Yeah.
Still. It's kind of fucking crazy. One day when she left for work and went down to her car, she saw that her front windshield was broken in. She immediately assumed it was him. And there was another time when she was driving home from work and she stopped at a red light, and apparently he just came running up out of nowhere, yelling and screaming at her. Told her she would be killed and that nobody would find the body. He would call the bank regularly and tried to ask to talk to her, and obviously they would never pass the phone on to her, but because of that type of shit, they served as good witnesses.
Yeah,
on her behalf.
And that's also what's kind of weird about not just him in particular, but stalkers / abusers that are so persistent in making contact with their victim, is everyone fucking knows. And like when somebody, I guess, gets past the point of not giving a shit if everyone fucking knows, that's when it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because he obviously does not give a shit.
Not at all.
Not in the least.
At this point so far, he's not violent towards other people for, helping her or stepping in his business, other than Pedro. But, I mean, Pedro's 70. He had no fear of that guy whatsoever.
Right. And he's just always wanted to slap a 70-year-old man.
Probably.
So, I mean, who doesn't from time to time, I guess? I'm waiting until you get to be 70.
But yeah. So by this point, he's only been violent towards her.
Right.
So yeah. So like I said, that the coworkers were good witnesses, and because of all of this shit, they wind up actually having him charged with 3 counts of violating his restraining order. And so the trial date was set for July 8th of 99. But, you know, obviously that was that was a ways away for her.
Right.
So her boss, Kathy, was a good lady, and she wound up transferring Gurley to a different branch in order to get her out of the area.
Indeed.
And help hide her a little bit until the trial went down and all that. And so, yeah, that was up until that point. Now, we can... I think it's probably a good idea from here
to stop it for next time.
Well, what's our time frame?
We're like an hour 40
shit.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we'll stop it right there.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's gonna get fun at this point.
And Chris Christopherson here fucking promises me that if he doesn't satisfy each and every one of you, that he will kiss each and every one of you
Ooh.
on the butthole.
Virtually, that is.
No matter your bathing preferences or condition.
I'm working on an AR version,
Yeah.
you know, but for now it's just, you know, it's just your standard virtual.
It's non-loving. It's very medical.
Butthole smooch.
But you know, no, he says that he's got this in the bag enough to where we can do the next episode very soon. So there will be no horrible, excruciating wait to find out the rest of this story.
That's right, because it's gonna get more and more fun. I promise you
Swear
that.
to God, if you try to set me on fire again, you son of a bitch.
So far, this dude is... Fuck, man. He is just a whole bag of ridiculousness.
Hey, this everything that I've heard about so far in this episode has been that this motherfucker, it's not even like he's a compulsive liar that just gets off on the lying. It's that it's like he needs to lie, but there's really no need for him to lie. So, but that just makes him want to lie more because he's like, well, if all of these people who I've fucking, lied to and made think that they should have some kind of, empathy for me, and it was so easy, so now I'm just going to do it just fucking cuz.
And I think that's what happens with a lot of con men is that, you know, they try something when they're young, they see how it works, and they just keep trying it, you know, and keep refining, you know, and different stories and different people.
But it's funny with him. It's like he doesn't need the refining. It's like his dumb enough thing already works, and now I've already used that on all the people I know. I got to think of something else to pile on top of that because, you know, I can't have all the dead kids and dead ex-wives in car crashes, especially when they see my wife and my kid.
I mean, but honestly, so far, it continues to work because he continues to move to different places. Yeah. So the people he's dealing with are always brand new people.
And the fact that he finally, I don't want to say grew the balls it would take to kill his wife, but the fact that he finally, I guess, put himself in a position where he couldn't just move and do it somewhere else because he had this actual fucking wife.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking that that's what really is going to be his downfall is when he obviously was like, well, I have to actually kill her now. So, anywho's, this episode is running super long, so I'm going to go ahead and
I hope you kids liked it.
Thanks for listening, and you will hear more very soon from us. And this has been, I'm going to...
Long awaited, unfortunately.
Yeah.
episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
Complete. Well, almost complete. This is a one part. This is the first part of what will be a complete story chock full of UFOs, conspiracies, and murders. And my buddy Porkchop there, who is looking for some lovin's and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Countdown. 3.
Dos.
And the number 1 comes after those. And before. Good night, children.
Alrighty, kids. See you next time.
Recording myself playing that. Instead of sending to you after I. Jesus Christ, scared the shit out of me.